you wake up in Lemuria.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're getting your plants taken off by a giant lizard queen who's ready to have your hermaphrodite egg babies. And you're getting spanked by Bigfoot while Amy Carlson, reincarnated as Teddy Roosevelt, is kissing you on the mouth.
And that's where shit got weird.
Welcome back, everybody, to this week's episode of Shadows and Sightings, the paranormal podcast, where we talk about all things spooky. I'm Taylor.
I'm Nick.
And today we have a interesting subject for y'all today. The haunting / UFO sightings / all around weird happenings occurring at Mount Shasta in Northern California.
Just a plethora of paranormal shit.
Paranormal
phenomenon.
Oh.
Phenomenas.
Nice. Phantasmas.
Phantasmos. Phantasms.
Los spookies.
Los no gustas.
No me gustas.
No me gustas. Tengo miedo.
Sure. I don't know what that means.
I'm scared.
Oh. You should be, because Mount Shiesty is it's a shiesty place. It's sketchy.
Really is.
It's Mount Sketch.
Mount Sketch should be called Mount Shiest. Yeah. It's
an interesting place, man. It's got the whole gambit of everything paranormal you could actually ever want. UFO sightings, ghosts, cult leaders, mysticism, spirituality.
Everything that we base our podcast off of happens. It happens at Mount Shasta,
which is insane. I mean, what other place can you think of has that many things happening at it?
I feel like Devil's Rock. That's what it's called, right? What was the movie with the aliens in the 90s, 80s?
Independence Day?
No.
Alien?
No.
Predator?
No.
It's Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
Yeah, that one. Close Encounters, yeah. Where they're like communicating with a keyboard, a synthesizer.
I've never seen it.
I feel like that mountain, that rock formation. I think it's called Devil's Rock or Devil's Tower.
Devil's Taint.
You would think it's kind of. I mean, it's protruding out in like the middle of nowhere, so it's
the devil's hemorrhoid.
It's the hemorrhoid or the
prolapse sphincter.
Yeah.
Well, Mount Shasta is the prolapse sphincter of Northern California.
It's something.
It is definitely something. I don't even know where to begin with Mount Shasta, but it's again, I mean, you can pick a subject and just roll with it for what you can find. So I guess before we get started into the episode, how you been, man? What's new? Anything happening in the world of Nick? I know he took a week off, had some personal stuff coming up.
Off, right? Yeah. I've been itching to record again. I'm like, man, I gotta record.
Yeah.
Give my buddy and get up to some shenanigans.
Talk about spooky shit.
Some weird Shasta shit. But overall, we
should have got some Shasta soda for this record.
You know, I feel like Shasta soda in and itself is also like a cryptid.
Because you just never see it.
You don't see it. You never find it. Interesting things that happened. Have you ever been in those not hyperbolic, but like the saltwater float
like
tanks?
The sensory deprivation things? No, I haven't.
I did that
really
over the weekend.
How'd that go?
That was fucking wild.
Yeah, did you hallucinate?
A little bit. Not like tripping balls hallucinating, but so it's weird. We went to the one downtown, Regenerate. I used to work with the owner.
Mm-hmm.
And
Hagerstown or?
In Hagerstown, yep. And I'm not sure how many tanks they have, but you get there, they walk you through the whole spiel of what you're supposed to do. He's like, shower off first, get all the natural oil off your body, and then explain the whole, like, there's 3 buttons in there, one controls the music.
Do you get buck naked?
I did. Yeah. I did. But they tell you that, though. They're like, you can go in naked if you want, or if you want to wear swimming trunks.
I feel like if you're going to do that, you got to just free ball it.
Yeah. So I'm in there butt ass naked.
Dong just floating in the floating.
It legitimately, so at first I felt really uncomfortable because I had the music going, which was just like like something that you would.
Was it like the meditative?
You would walk in a shop at Mount Shasta selling crystals, and that's what they're playing. You know, like the meditative,
like the
chimes going, the singing bowls.
Singing bowls? That's it. Yeah.
So that was the vibe, and the dimly lit like green light inside this tank. And then about 5 minutes in, I'm like, okay, let me try the full immersive experience. Cut the lights, cut the music, just pitch black. Floating in pitch black. They give you earplugs so you can't hear anything.
Oh, wow.
And you're just sitting there floating. And at first I felt really uneasy. I was like trying to find where the buttons were because I kind of felt myself drifting towards the center. And it kind of felt like, oh God, I'm drifting through space and I can't I've lost contact to the AirPod kind of thing. But you settle into it, and it's just...
My biggest thing would just be like relaxing enough to float without thinking the water is going to go up over my head.
And it's only like 10 inches of water.
Yeah, but still, I mean, I guess it's one of those things.
It's crazy. You instantly are like floating.
Yeah, because there's so much salt in there.
It's just buoyant.
Yeah.
I remember like trying to move my legs, and it felt like I was pushing weight because there's that much buoyancy.
Oh, wow.
And but so I'm sitting there floating, and it's a really profound and bizarre experience when you can't hear anything, you can't see anything, and all you have are just like your thoughts. It's just trippy.
It's terrifying.
At first, but then you kind of did some deep breathing and kind of eased into it, and it was actually really peaceful. And I was like, I completely understand why this is a thing.
Something you would go back to do?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was telling her,
sounds very therapeutic.
I'm going to do a second sesh sometime within the next, with this year. But yeah, that was probably the most bizarre thing on my end. What about you?
I did the opposite. I got a puppy.
Yeah. Tell me more how goes dog life.
Oh man, it's a lot of fun, but having an 8-week-old puppy is it's like having a child.
Yeah. Shits on everything.
He hasn't been too bad about accidents in the house.
Okay.
Luckily, he's been very good at that. He's very smart. The biggest issue that I'm having with him right now is his crate crying at night.
Oh yeah.
I've been trying to wean him off of it as much as I can, and he's gotten a lot better about it. But it's like 2-3 in the morning, he wakes up and he's ready to come out of that crate. He's just going nuts in there. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do to help you, man. I'm not letting you out. Yeah, I'm not letting you out.
You put a blanket over the...
I have the crate cover. It can close the whole way, but I don't close it the whole way because I feel like that's kind of rude. I don't know if it freaks him out more to be in a completely enclosed space or not. I haven't really figured it out, but...
we always put the blanket over Winchester when he was little, and then Bruin as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's like 3 sides are covered.
Yeah.
Or whatever. 1, 2, 3 in the top is covered.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's only one access to see out, and that's how he comes in and out. But, it's just an adjustment. He's just got to get used to it.
Yeah.
Just being alone.
Where'd you get him?
People down the street from me actually had him. So, yeah, I seen him on Facebook, and one thing led to another, and came home with a puppy. So, he's a good boy. He's a good boy.
I can't wait to meet him. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Dopeness.
Hopefully he sleeps enough for me to edit this podcast. Which he will. He's usually pretty good about sleeping during the day, especially after I've been taking him on some really long walks lately, just to tire him out as much as I can. Yeah. So, yeah.
Give him a little pack.
I went to pet. I'll be honest, because I had Freya, and that was the only pet that I've ever had in my life. And cats are easy. All you got to do is for a cat, litter box, litter, cat food. Yeah, Moochie over there, he's got the whole cat castle.
Nudes is over there.
Yeah, he's over there in his little bed.
Look at nudes.
But it's like, they don't require much. Freya was the easiest pie to have her. I mean, she was litter trained within like a couple of days, and she was just a perfect little angel. And she still is.
Just does what she wants.
She goes outside when she wants, and it, that's helped stimulate her brain enough to want to come back home and just sleep. wherever.
This one, once it gets warm outside, he is like fiending to go outside.
Yeah, I let Freya go. I mean, because I live in a nice enough place where I don't have to worry about her
She'll come back.
too much. Yeah, she's going to come back.
He comes back. He's just an idiot outside.
Well, you have like a kind of a bustling neighborhood, and you're like pretty close to some busy roads.
He's only ever ran out on the road that way one time, and it was at night, and that was when like you're barred from going outside. Yeah. But if we're out back, I'll take him out back with me sometimes, and he kind of just runs around the yard.
Yeah, it helps them. I think that's a thing with cats, is it like increases their lifespan because they can
stimulates their mind.
Yeah, they're natural predators, so if they can go out and hunt, that like makes them happy or whatever.
This one with mice, he plays with the mice. She like murders them.
Yeah,
had it last year. It was like a little outbreak in the garage.
That's the best part about having cats.
Yeah, and I let them both out in the garage, and she was just racking up skulls left and right, just dropping bodies.
Headshot, Bubba.
Just dropping bodies left and right.
And dude's like, "Hey, what are you doing to these poor things? I'm just trying to meet them, just trying to meet their families."
And she's like, "No,
like, none will live."
Pretty much, she's like, "They came to our land,
not on my watch. You crossed our sovereign borders." But
that's a declaration of war.
But so I went to a Petco the first time.
Yeah,
I think in my life, possibly.
Yeah.
Or at least the first time I can remember. Yeah. And the stuff they have for dogs, that you like little water bladders to go hiking with them, and little like, I was like, oh man, I can't wait till he gets. Of course, I'm like savoring the puppy stage while he's still such a tiny little bean. Yeah. But I'm like, man, I can't wait till you get a little bigger and we can go on hikes, and I can give you a little water pack and a little backpack. And
Hell yeah.
I found possibly the greatest toy I've ever seen in my life for a dog. It looks like a Blockbuster video case. And it's got a little like video cassette inside, but it's a little like cardboard chew toy thing. Oh man, it's so fucking cool.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah. So cool. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's why we skipped a week. Yeah. It's been busy. It's been a little crazy, but
we're back.
We're talking about spooky shit. Any spooky things happen to you?
I had a one-on-one meeting with the CEO of the company. That was pretty nerve-wracking.
That is terrifying. You never want to have that happen.
And it was like, the way that it happened too was like 3 weeks ago. I was on a call with another customer, and just out of nowhere, just a very ominous email.
You have been summoned.
Basically, hey, so-and-so, can you schedule a one-to-one meeting with Nick and I, on this date at this time?
You're like, oh fuck, I'm getting fired.
Well, I messaged my boss. I was like, what the fuck is this shit about? And he's like, I'm trying to figure it out.
Damn.
Because I wasn't the only one that he sent that message to. There was a couple other people. And it's just like, hey, get your numbers up kind of thing. Yeah. Why aren't you calling on your phone? He's like, because I'm calling through Teams. Yeah. I don't even remember what I wrote in the notes. I just remember scribbling stuff. It was probably like a grocery list or something. I don't know.
It's like the haunted shopping list from SpongeBob.
Yeah, basically. He's just like sitting there.
Milk, eggs, cheese.
Yeah. No, he's a nice guy. Just
a pointless meeting.
Basically like a warning, like get your numbers up kind of thing, which they're up already so.
They are erect.
Very erect. Like throbbing.
Veiny.
Like I have taken the Viagra of AT&T and my mobile minutes are thrusting through.
And my erection has lasted longer than 4 hours.
8.34 hours of
pure unadulterated.
Pure unadulterated, unfiltered call times.
Did I tell you, I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast or not before. It was kind of recently. When I say recently, I mean like when it was still nice enough to go walking. Yeah. I was up in Gettysburg, walking down Confederate Avenue.
Okay.
And, you're outside walking around, you smell different smells, leaves, grass, herbs? Trees, whatever. No, not really. Okay. Not too many herbs up that way, usually. But so I was walking down Confederate, and that whole street is basically where the Confederate battle line was. Yeah. So back behind it would have been where all the tents, campfires, all that shit would have been. Yeah. So I'm just walking around, and I'm coming, it's like dusk. And I'm walking up, and all of a sudden I start smelling tobacco, like pipe tobacco. And I was like, because we smoke, we know what that smells like.
Exactly. It's a pretty distinct smell.
Yeah. I was like, where is that coming from? There's nobody around. I was the only person around.
We talking like black cordial scent?
I'm talking just like a nice.
Or Captain Black, like a mild
not like
vanilla.
A store-bought kind of. It was like a nice Like I'm
sweet. Yeah. Okay.
like
I
a
get
nice
you.
sweet tobacco.
Sweet,
Yeah.
yeah, I got you.
But like we said, it's got a very distinct smell to it. Any kind of pipe tobacco, you walk into a tobacco shop, you can smell it right away.
Yeah, exactly.
It smelled just like that. And I was like, that's a phantom smell. Because clearly there's nobody around. There's nobody in the woods smoking a pipe, I would assume. And I didn't see anybody else around smoking a pipe. So all I can assume is some ghostly Confederate soldier was back there lighting his pipe up before charging across Pickett's Charge's field. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. Smoking the old Toby before.
Yeah, that good Southern tobacco.
Now that you do mention that, I guess it's kind of semi-spooky, kind of not. I don't know if it's maybe just because we're more in tune with it now and the government's becoming more open about it. But I have been seeing like a lot more like lights in the sky and stuff like that. I'm pretty convinced that 95%
It's just
of them
Starlink.
or Starlink and satellites.
Yeah.
Like we saw the Starlink train a couple last year going over Downsville. But I'm just seeing a lot more satellites kind of going through, and there was this really ominous bright star, and I kept thinking like that's not a star because normally I was like, is that the North Star? But I kind of did the math. I was like, well, wait, no, that's the North Star. What the fuck is that then?
Like how you did the math to determine it was the North Star.
I'm sitting there like I'm looking at like
You fucking nerd.
I'm like, okay, there's the dipper. That's the North Star. Wait, what the fuck is that? And it's just this like bright, ominous like thing in the sky. It's not moving.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not a star. That's like it's too like large, too prominent to be a star. But there's no blinking lights on it. So I'm sitting there like just watching this thing, just like ominously like staring down at me. Like that's not a star. Like what the fuck is that? And like, it was just like really trippy, bizarre, because it was the only one in the sky.
Yeah.
And it could have been because like the moon was out, so and the light pollution. I didn't see like any other stars, but whatever this thing was, it was like bright as fuck. I'm just sitting there like, what is that? It was so just bizarre.
They're coming.
I am fully convinced that we will make full contact with either disclosure through the U.S. government or a world government or contact on their part within like the next 100 years. I am thoroughly convinced.
100 years for sure. Yeah. I was watching a thing on Netflix. It was the Manhattan UFO abduction thing. Yeah. I didn't finish the last episode, but it was the lady that claimed.
I won't spoil it.
Does it turn out to be a big hoax? Or
I don't know. It's pretty compelling.
It's like,
it's pretty compelling.
Because they had like 40 witnesses.
That's the part where it's like, okay, they have witnesses that multiple people reported seeing the abduction taking place.
Yeah. It's like, man, you really had to do some outreach.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
to get people
got
to
40
get on board
people
with this.
But then the compelling side of it, like the skeptic side of it is kind of far-fetched with some of the shit that she was kind of talking about and like kind of piecing the pieces together. And it's like, okay, that seems kind of far-fetched.
Yeah. Well, the thing that got me was like they interviewed the son of the lady.
Yeah.
Who also supposedly was having all these visions and abductions. And he genuinely seemed concerned, or not concerned, I guess, but they hid his identity and stuff. Because he didn't want to. Yeah, he was like, I was like, I know what I saw. She wasn't telling me to say any of this stuff. And, so, I mean, that was kind of interesting.
Yeah. Watch the last episode.
Yeah. I think I made it like halfway through the final episode before I fell asleep.
I liked it. It was good.
Yeah.
It was compelling on.
But speaking of UFOs. Mount Shasta. Some people believe that this is a portal for UFOs, that aliens come down and they can fly their spaceships into the mountain, and it's like a time warp or a wormhole.
Oh, yeah, Stargate, like a dimension.
And it's cloaked in the mountain. Any thoughts on that?
I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it.
So this is coming from, we were just watching, we've both seen it a couple of times. We were just watching this as a refresher. Mysteries of the Unexplained on Netflix. This guy who clearly, we were talking about, it's like quality content control had to get involved on this or something, because the guy that they were interviewing 100% was at Woodstock, 100% dodged, Vietnam. This guy,
I promise you, he has dropped more acid than raindrops on Manhattan in March during rainy season.
ate more shrooms than Mario.
His eyes were like dilated.
He was missing like most of his teeth.
He's missing most of his teeth. He was there when the Grateful Dead debuted.
He watched them sign their contract with RCA.
This guy is like a spitting image of, like, when I think of a deadhead, like a burnt out deadhead.
Oh yeah,
that's the image that comes to mind. Is that guy?
I don't remember his name, but he did write a book called Mount Shasta Sightings, and he claimed that he and a buddy of his drove up to Mount Shasta to do some stargazing. Right?
Oh yeah, that was the first. Oh okay,
yeah.
Okay, stargazing. All right.
And he claims to have seen 3 stars show up in the sky, and they started to turn. And when they started to turn, it was opening a portal, which then he said a UFO took a second to fully materialize, but once it did materialize, it flew directly into the side of Mount Shasta. And from that point, he said that another portal opened up, and it was like a continuous cycle of a ship or an aircraft of some sort.
For 3 hours.
Looping. Yeah. He's like, we sat there and watched it for 3 hours. It's like, bro,
you were just
we try to keep an open mind here on the show. Yeah. We don't judge anybody for what you've seen, but for 3 hours, you sat outside in the woods on your pickup truck, looking the way that you do. Like, I'm judging you for sure. I'm judging you, but for 3 hours, dude, come on. You were baked out of your mind, probably high on shrooms. I don't know. I don't think I believe. I don't buy it.
The UFO side of Mount Shasta, are there mysterious lights that people probably are seeing weird things?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very low light pollution. It's apparently one of the best sky gates to see, star constellations and stuff in the United States.
Yeah.
So you sit out there long enough, I'm sure you're bound to see something strange.
Sure. Yeah. I will say that much. That story seems a little far-fetched.
Even for our standards.
It's just like, but there's the whole thing about it where, okay, the other theory is that whether it's aliens, whether it's the Telosians that live inside
from the city of Telos, which we'll get into that here in a second.
So Mount Shasta, it's located in the southern end of the Cascade Range of California, in the Siskiyou County area. We're roughly about 14,179 feet.
It's a big mountain
in elevation. I was telling you earlier about the mass
81 square miles.
So 85 cubic miles. The estimated volume is 85 cubic miles. And to kind of put that in perspective for you guys, if you take the average size of a car, which is roughly 15 feet long, about 6 feet wide, 5 feet high, you can fit approximately 30 million cars, so just 30 million Toyota Corollas in 1 cubic mile. And Mount Shasta is 85 cubic miles. So this thing is like
crazy,
massive.
Yeah, I think it's the biggest mountain in the United States. In the continental United States, that is.
It's up there. I know that it's up there. So is there the possibility that there could be some ancient civilization or ships or whatever flying around in there? I'm open to it.
I mean, that's a large space inside of a mountain. It is a volcanoes mountain, I believe.
Yep.
So kind of getting in, I don't want to talk about origins of a mountain, but origins of the spirituality surrounding the mountain. It's apparently a very spiritual place for Native Americans.
Yeah.
The Klamath people believe that the spirit Chief Skell lives in the mountain. Skell is said to have fought with the spirit of the below world, Lao, who lived at Mount Mazama, which I think is Mount Shasta before it started being called Mount Shasta.
Okay.
Of course, that could just be symbolism for a volcanic eruption, where a deity of some sort is fighting with fire against another deity. This great spirit Skell is supposedly created Mount Shasta as a stepping stone from heaven. So again, I'm not too familiar with Native American beliefs. I mean, we had Courtney on here talking about her tribe's specific beliefs and culture, but this is a completely different tribe of Native Americans. Yeah. So what their versions of, their mythology is, so they believe that Mount Shasta is definitely a spiritual haven. When Native Americans or at least in this tribe, they send prayers. The prayers supposedly go to Mount Shasta, and the spirits are conjuring there. I guess that's where their prayers are being answered, quote unquote.
So it's like almost like a spiritual mecca for them.
Yeah,
essentially. Yeah.
And I believe it was 1975. So the Native Americans, of course, they believe it's sacred. I think it was 1975. The company comes in and builds a giant ski resort on Mount Shasta.
Yeah.
And like a year later, it burns down or from unknown causes. So naturally, it's because the mountain is sacred and they're not allowed to do that stuff there.
Yeah.
But I think there's a ski resort there now that is okay. It was just
he's come around.
Yeah.
The mountain realized that.
Yeah, he's cool now. He's cool now.
You know what? We should modernize.
We gotta get visitors.
we have to. Like,
it's capitalism, man. We gotta do it.
Baby. We gotta figure it out. But it's not surprising that the level of mysticism that surrounds Mount Shasta, because I kind of feel like when you have an area that's just so vastly large like that,
mm-hmm.
such like a work of nature, you're kind of just mesmerized. I think it's just a natural response
is to idolize it,
and for humans to kind of assign
worth to it
or value or have like a greater meaning. Like we saw like the episode, all those people that travel from all over.
Yeah. It can't just be a mountain.
Yeah.
It's got to be something more.
And the one lady's like speaking in like alien tongues, like on TikTok or whatever, just like bizarre out there. And I'm sure we'll get into some of the cult stuff about it here shortly, but
it's definitely a spiritual destination for a lot of these holistic people.
No.
And they make voyages there. They go, like you were saying,
pilgrimages
to go and experience Mount Shasta. And you can, if you're spiritual or if you believe in holistic healing or any of that stuff, by all means, it's, again, we're not judging anybody besides the dude that's seen ships flying in and out of Mount Shasta for 3.5 hours.
And even that, I'm not going to like judge that guy. Like,
he's seen what he's seen.
Yeah, he saw something.
Yeah.
Something legit happened.
But if you believe in that, that's your prerogative. No judgment here. But like you were saying, they go and they sit on trees and they touch the trees or they touch the rocks. And if you've seen the one lady, she walks by and she's like, I just found this tree, and it turns out it's a portal.
To what? To Lemuria.
Oh, was that what she was referring to?
Yeah, portal to Lemuria or Telos. Yeah.
And then you've seen another one. She's sitting like on a rock and she's like it looks like she's like threading air or something, like a needle through air. Yeah. And she's speaking in tongues, like essentially.
Speaking in like alien Lemurian tongues or whatever.
Yeah. And claiming it's kind of bizarre to me, but
it's a little out there.
It's out there.
I'll call it for what it is. I'm not afraid to say it. It's a little out there.
It's a little out there.
But I think
my favorite was the scientist. He's like, people will experience it, and if you want to see Telos, you can see Telos. But I'm a scientist, and I think it's fucking bullshit.
He's like, I think it's fucking ridiculous. Like, it's just no fucks given. Just very blunt, like a true scientist would say. Just like, show me the numbers.
Yeah, right.
Show me the proof.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So let's kind of get into that a little bit. I know the lady that was in the documentary or in the episode was saying she was a Mormon. Yeah. And now she's evolved into whatever she is now. So I don't think it's a Mormon thing per se.
It's just, she was formerly Mormon, came to Shasta looking for a spiritual experience, to kind of have like an awakening. Uh-huh. And that's how she came across the whole concept of Lemuria and Telos.
And this is an idea that has been around for some time.
So Lemuria in itself actually really didn't start out as the whole mystic dimensional, inner earth kind of spiritual thing that it is today. Actually started or you can trace its origins back to the 19th century or late 19th century, around the 1800s, where a British zoologist named Philip Sclater published a paper called The Mammals of Madagascar. And he posited the theory that in India, they found skull remains of lemurs, and they also found them in Madagascar. And if you can look at a map, India, where it is, Madagascar is off the coast of East Africa.
Yeah.
So he was trying to figure out, why do we have lemurs in these two portions of the world, but they're not found anywhere else? So he thought that maybe there was a landmass, kind of like an Atlantis type thing, which I think he was joking when he like said Lumeria, lemur,
exactly.
But it kind of caught on,
right?
Which isn't surprising because you got to think 1800, 1860s. This is not that far off. So only 40-ish years before we have, or not even that, probably 30 years where we have other stories like the, Attack on Mars.
Oh, War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds, like that story, that pulp fiction, that science fiction. Those stories started get popularized in like the 1890s. Mm-hmm. So I think we're at a time where people are kind of fascinated with like what's out there.
Science fiction.
Science fiction's kind of like starting to really take off. So naturally, I'm not surprised that this kind of took off the way that it did.
Yeah, and to speak on that, it was only in 1905 that A Dweller on Two Planets by Frederick Spencer Oliver was published, which claimed that survivors from a sunken continent called Lemuria were living in Mount Shasta. So you get the lemur secret continent or sunken continent that lemurs used to cross, the oceans with, and that turns into, this is a continent that sunk, but the people that lived on it somehow migrated to Northern California and are now living in a mountain. So you have 1800s lemurs, 1905 secret civilization living in a mountain.
Nope. So then, of course, if we kind of look at the progression of how Lumeria is still around today. So 19th century, not going into like the 1900s, the theory of continental drift kind of starts to gain traction, and people realize, oh wait, we don't need to have a landmass to sink. They could have just been connected at once, and then they broke, like tectonic plates. And
actual science.
Yeah, science. So because of that, it was supposed to die off. The whole Lumeria thing was like, okay, this has been debunked.
Right.
You can stop talking about it. But people are stupid.
But back it comes.
It kept going. And this is where it starts getting a little weird and more interesting.
Oh, it's just now starting to get weird?
And this is where, Lumeria transformed from science to a legend. 1888, the Russian mystic Helena Blavatsky, founder of Theosophy, wrote The Secret Doctrine. In this doctrine, she claimed that Lumeria was real, not just the lost land. It was the home of an advanced ancient civilization that existed before Atlantis. According to her, Lumerians were spiritually and intellectually superior to modern humans. For those of you who want to know what a Lumerian looks like, we say Lumeria and Telos interchangeably.
Yeah, Telos was the city within Lumeria.
So Lumeria was the continent or
the race of people. Lumeria was the continent.
But Telos was the city.
Telos is the city inside of Mount Shasta that they live in now.
Gotcha. What they look like. Oh, let's talk.
According to legend,
she believed that they communicated telepathically, had supernatural abilities, and were tall, egg-laying hermaphrodites.
Okay.
Before evolving into more human-like beings.
Okay.
So
we also heard that they were described as tall, blonde hair, blue eye, white, Nordic looking. 10 feet tall, dressed in white robes.
I've even seen
lizard people.
Yeah, 3 eyes.
Yeah, foes of Atlanteans. Apparently there was a feud between Atlanteans and Lemurians.
I'm pretty sure that's what this all came down to.
This is what it's all about.
This is an ongoing war.
This is what it's all about, man.
Let's call it for what it is, folks. This was an interdimensional, intergalactic war between Atlanteans and Lemurians.
Yeah. Neither side won. No, they destroyed themselves. Or destroyed each other.
Lemurians tried to sink the Atlanteans.
They did, but the Atlanteans persevered and created a secret underwater utopia, wherein the Lemurians migrated and created a secret under mountain utopia. So maybe they both won.
In the end, I don't know, maybe. I think science won and tectonic plates kind of destroyed.
And saying that's all fucking bullshit.
They got some pile of steam in their shit, but no. Not to rag on, Lumerians, and I'm sure they're really nice people. They probably have great benefits.
Oh, they don't need benefits. They live forever.
That's true.
No diseases.
No diseases, no sickness. People who have described what Lumeria looks like, a lot of like crystal pink hues, so crystal waterfalls.
More beautiful than Earth.
Yeah.
But it's like slightly. It's slightly more beautiful than Earth, but it's more fantastical. Purple or a pink and green
hues,
waterfalls, and crystalline.
Looking like something out of a 1980s synth.
Like fucking Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. Yeah, just this magical place.
Yeah.
It's just filled with love. There's no hatred.
There's so much love, man. You could cut the love with a knife.
That's what, she says that. She says, you can cut the love with a knife there.
So people apparently burst into tears when they enter Telos.
Yeah. And you have to be invited in. You can't. Yeah. You have to have an open mind.
You can't just find it.
There's no, apparently people will try to scam you. Well, it kind of like ties into the
$15. I'll take you on a tour to go to a tree and say this is a portal to Lemuria. But the catch is, I can only take you to the tree. I can't take you in.
I can't.
you gotta want to go in. And if you didn't go in, well, then clearly you weren't ready.
Do you want to go in? Fuck no, I don't want to go in. That's scary.
I've been there, done that, man. There's nothing I need to see. My ex-wife's in there.
I've been to Telos so many times. They don't want me back.
I broke a lot of laws.
What kind of laws?
Tax evasion, mostly.
Tax evasion.
Bestiality. There's only so many times you can fuck a lizard hermaphrodite.
Yeah, apparently it's frowned upon, but who am I? What do I know?
I stole one of their robes.
What do I know? Don't steal the eggs. They lay eggs there. Don't steal them. Don't make omelets with them.
I wonder if they look like what's Lae'zel in Baldur's Gate? The Githyanki.
The Githyanki's.
I wonder if they look like that.
I would take that look over whatever this Russian mystic lady is describing them as. This tall, slender, egg-laying hermaphrodites.
Well, that's what a Githyanki is.
Oh, yeah, they do lay eggs. Yeah, I completely forgot about that.
Yeah. I would be interested just to go to see what the hype is.
Oh, for sure. Shasta's on my list of places to visit before I die. I'd love to check it out.
Yeah.
I just want to go to see the lentic. What's it called? The cloud. Which this kind of ties back into the whole UFO thing, where believers think that lenticular, is that what it's called? A lenticular cloud?
Yeah, lenticular clouds.
Yeah, so essentially on Mount Shasta, it's so high, and it's positioned in like the right amount of like height and distance between its peak and the atmosphere, where air kind of gets pushed in on one side of the mountain. It cools rapidly and then is compressed out the other side of the mountain. So it kind of creates this optical illusion of air is constantly moving, and it kind of takes on this like shape of like a disc.
Sometimes it can take on different shapes, like waves.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
okay. And it's called, it's just wild. It's called a lenticular cloud.
Yeah, lenticular cloud. But you're right. A lot of times people will look up and see a lenticular cloud above Shasta and think that it's a UFO portal or a UFO coming in, and like it's the perfect disguise for a UFO because it looks like, I mean, it really does look like a UFO.
Yeah, it looks like a disc. It does. Yeah.
But they think that it's like the perfect disguise. Like if something's going to go to Mount Shasta UFO wise, obviously it's going to cloak itself in a cool looking cloud.
I love the guy on that episode was like, I'm not really buying it. Like if I was trying to hide and not be spotted, why the hell would I shape myself in something that's the exact same thing that people are looking for? Which I get it. I dig it. I understand why. So we have this like the cult, it kind of starts there in like the 1880s and pretty much progresses up until I guess modern day, the last cult episode thing that happened there.
Oh, cults I don't really know the timeline of how many or how frequently cults have visited, but there is evidence that throughout the years, I'm assuming like probably hundreds of years, of multiple cults going to Mount Shasta, into the tunnels beneath it, and doing quote unquote heinous activities.
Rituals.
Yeah. Dressing as Native Americans to, I guess, honor... quote unquote honor is probably exaggerating.
I think some maybe probably had good intentions. I think some probably had
some cruel intentions.
Cruel intentions behind it. Like they're like legitimately trying to be mean.
Yeah, but there's like writings inside the walls of the cult leaders that have been there, the cults that have been there, the people that have been there, the numbers of people that they have killed in there.
The prophets, like I don't know if it's numbers of people that have like been killed in there.
You don't think?
No,
I could have swore I've seen tally marks. Maybe it was just how many times they visited.
I think more just it was kind of a means of like tallying up their followers.
I could have just been going to the extreme.
Hey man, it's Shasta. Anything goes. I wouldn't put it past you.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of like cult activity.
Probably still.
Sure. What was the most? I mean, you can go back through and look at the history of like the timeline. That could be a whole other episode in itself, just like cult followings and how they kind of tie into Mount Shasta.
For sure.
What was the lady? The
lady was Amy Carlson. She was the leader of the Love Has Won cult. And strap yourselves in, folks. This one is a doozy.
Give me the deets.
So Amy Carlson was a cult leader, and she's only, I would say, vaguely associated with Mount Shasta. But just because her last whereabouts before she died were at Mount Shasta and she visited frequently, she's kind of become one of those local legends of her being there. She was a cult leader of this group called Love Has Won. She claimed that she was a thousands of year old deity. She claimed that she was Mother God, Mother Earth, if you will. Gaia. Cleopatra. She said that she's lived multiple lifetimes. Cleopatra. She said she was Harriet Tubman, Marilyn Monroe. She claimed that she was the mother of Elvis Presley, that she was the second coming of Jesus Christ. Multiple, all the standard cult leader stuff.
Yeah, that checks out. Yeah, this cult leader is Jesus Christ. I wouldn't believe it if it wasn't a cult leader. Right? Jesus Christ.
So she was very big on spiritual healing, and she claimed that she could perform miracles and heal people from cancer or ailments. She apparently was able to cure people from autism and all kinds of other stuff.
God, these poor people that believed her, and because she wasn't doing that shit for free.
No,
you have autism.
Well, you never know. She might have been just to be like, hey, I'll cure you of your autism. You just tell people about me to gain her following.
Notoriety, I suppose. Sure. I mean, there's that social currencies there, I guess.
She apparently started experiencing paranormal phenomena in the mid-2000s. Specifically, she heard a voice telling her that she would one day become president of the United States. Didn't work out for her.
Us normal, sane individuals like to refer to that as delusions.
Yep.
Sometimes fueled by excessive paranoia and or schizophrenia and or drugs or sleep deprivation.
Yep. In 2007, this was my favorite. Well, not my favorite, but the name of this is really cool.
No.
So Carlson had 3 kids by 3 different men. So in 2007, left her third husband and her job, ceased contact with most of the members of her family, joined up with a person named White Eagle in Colorado, where they formed a group, quote unquote group, a cult, called the Galactic Federation of Light. Yeah. Yep.
Sign me up. I'm down. What are the requirements?
Carlson and White Eagle led the group as Mother and Father God. So they're gods.
I bet you White Eagle wasn't even like Native American.
Probably not.
I guarantee he probably wasn't.
I don't really know what convinced these people to start following her. I guess outside of her just claiming that she was the second coming of Jesus and that she lived thousands of years and she is like the beginner of Earth. And
in the episode where they were kind of interviewing the two women, it was Dr. Phil. I thought it was Dr. Phil.
Yeah, he's like, let's say she's Jesus Christ, right?
Yeah, she's shown us the proof.
Yeah,
but they didn't expand on what that proof was. Like, what do you mean she showed you the proof?
Yeah, it's just a bizarre story surrounding this cult, but basically they relocated a couple of times around the country. Mostly their base was in Colorado, but they lived in Hawaii, Florida, and like I said, they would visit Mount Shasta every now and then to try to seek entrance, I guess, into Telos or to gain some sort of spirituality where she could commune with the cosmos because she claimed that she could go to the 5th dimension and just ascend there whenever she felt like it. I just can't get over her that she claimed that she had been reincarnated 534 times.
What's such a specific number?
Yeah.
Why not 329? Why?
And of course she just says that she's been reincarnated as people such as, like we said, the guy Cleopatra, Joan of Arc, Harriet Tubman, Helena Blavatsky.
Yeah. That's the That was the mystic, the 1888.
Yep. She claimed she was her. Yeah. So she claimed to have had full memories of these past lives, including being crucified when she was Jesus.
So. How pretentious do you need to be? Man, like, it's one thing to claim that you're Jesus Christ. It's a whole nother level of douche fuckery to claim that you can remember the memory of being crucified on the cross. That's
blasphemy in the highest form. It's got to be.
That is fucking ballsy.
I'm sure she didn't believe in hell, but if anybody's in there, it's got to be her.
Oh my God. That is awful.
So fast forward, she gains a pretty solid following, and so because she's claiming that she can perform miracles on people.
Did you happen to see at the height how many followers she actually had?
I didn't see where there was any
like statistics,
concrete number.
Yeah.
I did see that she was supposedly destined to lead exactly 144,000 believers out of the superficial reality of the 3D world and into a fifth dimension plane the fifth dimension plane of higher existence. So she was, I guess, aiming for 144,000.
144 is magic. No, 144,000. We got to get them subs. We got to get those subs.
To accomplish her goal, she needed to regularly commune with the Galactics, quote unquote, an etheric team of spiritual ambassadors that she said was largely made up of deceased celebrities, including Robin Williams, Patrick Swayze, John Lennon, identified as Ashitar, Whitney Houston, Prince, Steve Irwin, Carrie Fisher, Rodney Dangerfield, Tupac, Chris Farley, David Bowie, Gene Wilder, Michael Jackson. She claimed that she lived in Lemuria and that Donald Trump was her father. She claimed that an obscure technology was stolen, causing an explosion that sank Atlantis, and that Mother God was able to save the technology, but was not able to fully ascend to the fifth dimension because humanity was not ready. So she continued returning to Earth in human form. The group's former website said that Carlson was a spiritual surgeon who would work multidimensionally to operate on people's bodies and cure various physical ailments. She said she had cured cancer, Lyme's disease, addiction, suicidal thoughts, removed brain tumors, and helped cases of autism. Ironically enough, when she dies, she is autistic. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
So in 2020, she is in very poor health. She's allegedly paralyzed from the waist down.
Oh my God.
Claiming that she herself has cancer. So she can cure other people's cancer. She just can't cure her own. How that works, I don't know.
It's one of those rare.
It's one of those, it's in the fine print.
You take it on. That's how it works. She takes it on from others.
Oh, yeah, it could be.
It gets rid of theirs, but now she has to carry the burden because she's the chosen one.
Of course.
And she's taking it upon herself to be as a righteous deed.
Could be. Or it could be the fact that she
just can't fucking cure cancer. And
that she was consuming large amounts of colloidal silver, which the group was promoting as a COVID-19 cure.
Oh my God. But it just goes to show you the inherent danger of these people.
Yeah, the FDA apparently warned them about it and told them to stop telling people this is a cure for COVID. And they didn't listen.
He's just sitting there. He's just a guy sitting there at his desk going, FDA, this is Carl speaking. Theoretically speaking,
if we ingest colloidal silver, is this a COVID cure?
What are you, fucking dumb?
Click. And then she's like on the other end. Yep, they said it works, guys.
Got the approval.
Click. So she passed away from ingesting large amounts of colloidal silver. Alcohol abuse and anorexia were common things. She was 75 pounds when she died.
She looked pretty skinny.
Yeah, she was 75 pounds.
She looked pretty malnourished.
Apparently the group didn't say she died. They never told anybody that she died. She ascended to the fifth dimension.
Okay, so that's all right. That's where I'm a little hazy. So they find her body in her apartment, wrapped in Christmas lights and a blanket.
Yes, a sleeping bag.
A sleeping bag wrapped in Christmas lights
with glitter makeup on her face and her eyes removed. She was mummified.
But then there's no. Was anyone ever charged? Was anyone?
Yes, actually.
Oh, okay. I thought it was kind of those things where it was like, we don't know who did this. We just know that it happened.
So I think one of the ex-members of her group went to the I'm going to probably butcher this, Seguache County Police Department and reported that the group had come to his home with Carlson's corpse and were staying there without permission, and that he had not been in touch with Carlson for several months. Upon arrival, police discovered Carlson's mummified corpse. Its state of decay suggested that she had been dead for several weeks. The body was found in a sleeping bag, wrapped in Christmas lights, the face covered in glitter, and the eyes missing, in what authorities stated was a makeshift shrine. 7 members of the group were charged with abuse of a corpse as well as child abuse due to the presence of 2 children in the property. So they charged 7 people for mummifying basically desecrating a corpse. Apparently, they tried to up the penalty for desecrating a corpse for this specific case.
Yeah, be like, all right, well, you freaks really went out on a limb here to try to get your point across.
Yeah.
You failed, so...
Deputy Alex Raines announced plans to upgrade the abuse of corpse charges to the more serious charge of tampering with a deceased human body, and the group members were reported to be facing a mixed charges of child abuse, abuse of a corpse, tampering with a deceased human, and false imprisonment.
Stacking up them counts. Stacking them.
So yeah, she died in 2021, April 28th, or early April 2021 was when she was supposedly dead.
That's wild.
Well, the rise and fall of a deity.
Common
sense of the poor people
just,
that she...
the fall of common sense. There's no rise there. but hey, according to her, she's probably already back. She's probably, I don't know.
Oh yeah,
she's probably Whoopi Goldberg. I don't know. I don't know. Who else could she be?
Sabrina Carpenter.
Maybe
she's Chappell
Roan.
If anybody was going to become like Mother God, I feel like Chappell Roan would be on that train pretty hard.
Nah, it's probably going to be yeah. I mean, it's like, who else could she be? I don't know. She could probably be King Jong-un for all we fucking know. He seems pretty out there. Yeah, isn't he a deity god?
I'm wondering if she has to reincarnate into somebody that hasn't been born yet. Like maybe in a couple of years. Like it can't be somebody that's already alive. She's got to reincarnate into a person. Like in 5 years, we're going to be like, wow, that's Amy Carlson.
Maybe. I don't know. I kind of feel like reincarnation can kind of go both ways.
I'm sure.
Like we always think of it as linear, where it's the next life. But what if it was possible to reincarnate as somebody in the past? Because time isn't linear. It's kind of like expansive if you think about it.
Oh, here we go.
It's
no starting cults, Nick.
Like time doesn't do this. It does this.
Nick is broadly gesturing.
We think it does this because that's how our minds like work, but in reality, time is like this.
Are you giving me the Hulk in Avengers Endgame talk right now? Is that what's happening?
What Oppenheimer? Did you watch Oppenheimer?
No.
He kind of gives a pretty good. It's either him or Einstein. Somebody he's talking to.
With the theory of relativity, right? Isn't that Einstein?
Yeah, but,
is that space and time or whatever?
Well, Einstein's in it, but he's not in it like a lot. He kind of shows up in like bits and pieces. Yeah. Where he's like retired now at this point. He's like the old wise sage that Oppenheimer.
Don't fucking do this.
Basically, you need to stop. He's like, oh, I'm not fucking doing it. No, really, you should stop. No. Yeah, they're like talking about like time. It's like, it's not this, it's this.
It's like, always. It's I guess you could go back in time. I don't know. That's too much for my tiny brain to comprehend, of being able to reincarnate yourself into somebody in the past. Because I feel like that would be robbing the original person in the body the life that they lived.
But if it's happening at the same time and not happening at the same time, are you truly robbing it? Like if it's just in this constant state of being, like it's already happened, but it hasn't happened. It's begun, but it's over. You know what I mean?
So thanks for joining us on this episode of Shadows and
Sightings. I'm just saying, she's coming back.
She's coming back. Okay.
She's coming back.
She's coming back. Transition a little bit. I feel like we'll probably start wrapping this thing up here pretty soon. But to transition, ghosts have also been pretty heavily featured at Mount Shasta. There's a story of a person going hiking and hearing a ghostly choir off in the distance singing, like a Gregorian chanting type situation, where he heard it for like a day straight. Went back to his campsite and asked his girlfriend if she heard it as well. She didn't hear anything, but he could still hear it. So,
okay,
I'm sure there's more ghost stories than we can count at Mount Shasta.
That's trippy. I can dig that. Yeah. I'm pretty sure we haven't even scratched the surface of the anomalies.
It's almost impossible to really dig into how much is reported in Mount Shasta.
No.
Like I said, between spirits, UFOs, the crystal city of Lemuria being underneath, the
cults,
a sacred spring is allegedly in Mount Shasta.
The mythology behind it, we could probably do a whole
this could be like a three-part episode
just on like Mount Shasta. We'll probably revisit
the tunnels inside of it that people go into and more than likely probably never come out of because they get lost, and it's probably like a Skyrim Drugar cave down in there. Just walking through it and all over here.
That or it's the
I don't know.
what was the city, the mushroom,
like the Underdark, right?
Basically, yeah.
Oh, what the fuck were they? They lived down there. The little blind elves.
The white elves, the Falmer.
Falmer, that's it.
Falmer.
Thank you. God. All the Skyrim nerds were shouting at us in there.
Yeah. Falmer, you dumb fucks. You with the fucking glasses and you with the fucking beard. You call yourself a fan?
Well, I'm not buying.
Yes, the Falmer. Yeah, that's what I envision.
Yeah. If anybody's Falmer asses are living in a cave, I mean, it's Mount Shasta. It'd be the perfect place to.
I feel at one point in time, Mount Shasta or Lemuria or Telos was this awesome civilization, but now what we have is
like the Dwemer Society.
Dwemer, yeah.
They just disappeared.
They're gone.
And then, of course, our old pal Bigfoot has also been seen at Mount Shasta.
Oh, yeah.
He's a resident there. He's got a nice scenic property up in the mountain. Mm. He frequents the ski resort.
Yep. Butt naked.
Gets a nice hot cup of cocoa.
Yep. Grandfather.
Gets on back down to the sacred city. He probably has like a vacation house in Lemuria.
Oh, yeah. Hands down.
Yeah. And if there's a portal there, he's just going through it. And that's how he gets to and from places and is never seen.
Comes out in this little Hawaiian shirt.
Fanny pack. Bright green glasses. Like those bright green plastic Ray-Bans.
Yeah. And
flip-flops. The biggest pair of flip-flops you've ever seen, obviously.
Dude's rocking Crocs.
You think he's crocking?
Oh, he's crocking.
Crocking with his
crocking and clocking.
Rocking out with his Crocs out?
Oh, yeah. Rocking and clocking. And grandfather cocking. He's just fucking living it up.
I like that he dresses and the only thing that's not covered up is this enormous dick.
Oh, yeah. No, he knows what he's doing. He's flaunting it. He's no
Who's he out there to impress?
He doesn't need to impress anybody. He's Bigfoot.
Then why does he get the dick out?
Because he's Bigfoot. He can do what he wants.
I think it's Bigfoot, not Big Dick.
He does what he wants. Like, who's going to say anything to him? Hey, Bigfoot.
Mothman?
Put your dick away.
Mothman would say something. Be like, come on, man. You're showing everybody up.
Okay, he's probably the only person that he would respect. Okay, fine. If Mothman said something, he
I feel
probably
like him and
would.
Nessie probably would be like, they're like the OG bros.
Yeah, can you not? Like, you promise you wouldn't. You swore.
Not at the function, okay?
You
like,
swore, okay?
You're embarrassing me.
Okay, come on. You said you weren't going to do it.
Put a top hat on that thing or something. My God.
God. It's like, would you like a traffic cone? Look, it's got a little hat on it now.
He uses that thing as a fishing reel.
Fucking spear fishing.
Standing on the lake shore.
It's like, what's he balancing? Oh.
So Mount Shasta. What are your thoughts, Nick?
I think it would be really cool to visit.
Absolutely. It's like Mount Doom. It's like Mount Mordor.
But cooler, I guess.
Like literally, because it's cold there. Because it's all the snow.
Yeah. I would love to visit it just to hike. California is one of those states where I haven't mapped out of all the places I want to visit. Well, I want to start in Utah and then make my way up to California. Oh, okay. Because I want to go visit Zion and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think it would be really cool to check out. I think it looks beautiful.
Just for the clouds too.
Yeah, just
and the stargazing.
I just like you take away all the weird paranormal stuff. I'm glad that it's just Mount Shasta for being Mount Shasta.
Yeah.
But of course, I'm a fiend for the paranormal. So if I go there and I don't see one fucking alien, I'm going to lose my marbles.
Or some white person with dreads chanting at a mushroom.
I'm sure I'd see that. That's why. I wouldn't be mad. I'd be really surprised if I didn't see that.
It's probably most of the town.
Yeah, it's just like, I did not see one person with dreads here, or one person chanting, or one person doing yoga while chanting. Yeah, it's definitely on my bucket list. What
I'd be curious. I don't know how far our reach is for this podcast of who listens where. I'd be really curious to know if somebody in the town of Mount Shasta somehow stumbles upon our little podcast one day. And if they do,
leave a message.
Just reach out to us.
Shoot us.
Shoot your shot with us, because I really genuinely want to know what it's like to live out there.
Have you on the show. Shoot us a DM. Like, we'll get you in that. We want to have you.
If you know somebody that lives in Mount Shasta, that'd be amazing.
If you've been there.
Yeah.
If you've experienced it, let us know.
But you're right. California is definitely one of those places. It's like Mount Shasta, the redwood forests up that way, all that stuff, man. Just the bounty of wilderness.
There's a lot of cool things in Cali that we just don't have here that I want to experience. Yeah. What's that cigar company? I can see the label in my mind's eye. I want to say it's CAO, C-A-O.
Oh, C-A-O. Is that California?
Well, I don't think that's specifically California, but I think they partnered with, I could be completely wrong, but a grower of cannabis out there. And there's actually like, they hand roll cannabis cigars.
Oh, shit.
And it's like a big ass fucking cigar just filled with bud.
Just smoke one of those and hike Mount Shasta?
You'd be fucking blazed.
You're going to see some UFOs.
You're going to see some shit smoking that thing. And yeah, it's like, it's huge. They're like can of cigars. And I think they partnered with them to make it. And like,
sick as hell.
Would I try it one day? Probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably yes.
Yeah, I probably would. Would I regret it? Absolutely, I would.
No, you wouldn't.
I would die.
I don't think you would.
I would be having like a panic.
But see, the thing is, you like smoke a little here and there, not the whole thing at once.
Well, I mean,
like you take a puff or two on your way up. Halfway through, you stop for lunch. Take another puff or two. Just keep that ride going. You know,
you walk another
mile,
minutes.
2 miles. You like, because there's no way you're going to summit that thing unless you're in really good shape. You know, like I don't even think it's possible to summit it.
I don't know.
I would assume anyway. I mean, I guess people climb Mount Everest, they can summit that, but.
Do you see that guy on TikTok or the news the other day? Walked 100,000 steps in one day.
That's crazy.
It was like a 15-hour walk.
I could do it.
47 miles.
I could do it.
A day.
I could do it. Yeah, I don't think I could do it. But I'm just saying, you smoke like a quarter of that thing going up there, and then you get to where you're going to stop, and then you smoke the rest and just sit. See what happens.
Yeah, you wake up in Lumeria.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're getting your plants taken off by a giant lizard queen who's ready to have your hermaphrodite egg babies, and you're getting spanked by Bigfoot while Amy Carlson, reincarnated as Teddy Roosevelt, is kissing you on the mouth.
And that's where shit got weird. That's where, like, I mean, the lizard thing was weird. Bigfoot sitting there doing Bigfoot things.
Cucking you.
It's just like, it's fucking, like, this is fucking weird. But then, like, she shows up and it's like, oh God, this is where the trip starts getting bad. But then she turns into Teddy Roosevelt. Oh God, dude,
and starts Frenching you.
Oh, just fucking kill me.
But then gives you the greatest orgasm you've ever had.
No, I'm good. I'm good. No, you lost me. When she showed up, like, that's when you just know it was a bad trip. She just shows up as
It's like it's like Avatar: The Last Airbender when he like is taking away Ozai's firebending and he like has the beams of light shooting out of his head. That's you orgasming. It's like he just touches you on the forehead. It is bending your chi.
I'm being mind fucked by Teddy Roosevelt. It really started getting weird because he started yelling out the bull moose. It's like, the bull moose.
Just bending your chi into the most insane orgasm you've ever had.
Oh my God.
While you're sitting under a pink waterfall.
And then you just come to and you're fucking.
And you're humping a rock.
In the park
like it just stops in a second.
It all happens to you. It felt like 3 hours.
Like you lived a lifetime. You lived a lifetime in Lemuria.
And in reality, it was like 2 seconds. And next thing you know, a park ranger's handcuffing you and throwing you in the back of the squad.
Yeah, and you have severe hypothermia.
It's like I'm getting real tired of you fucking mystic fucks coming up here.
Oh shit. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Well, I think that'll do it for this episode of Shadows and Sightings. So go visit Mount Shasta. Why not? Why not go visit?
Like.
Yeah. Like we said, have you been there? You know somebody that's been there? If you want to visit there, let us know. We could be reached Shadows and Sightings, a paranormal podcast on Facebook, Shadows and Sightings Pod on Instagram, or send us an email, shadowsandsightings@gmail.com. We are going to start adjusting our release schedule just a little bit. Yeah. Instead of releasing our episodes on Tuesdays, we're going to switch over to releasing our episodes on Thursdays. That gives you a little something to look forward to for the weekend. It's also going to make it a lot easier on us with our constantly changing schedules. Yeah. Recording on Sundays and releasing an episode on Tuesday puts a lot of pressure on me to turn these things around in 24 hours, which is not possible. It's not impossible. I enjoy doing the editing process, but so we appreciate the continued support with our changing schedule a little bit, but we promise to keep bringing you new episodes on topics that maybe you haven't thought about before, or topics you never heard of, or topics you do know a lot about. Anything like that. What topics do you want to hear us talk about? We're always looking for new suggestions. We're looking for new cryptids, new ghost stories, new haunted places.
Conspiracy theories. Spooky, urban legends, myths.
If you live in, a neighborhood and you had a really crazy thing happen in your neighborhood, what was that thing? Let us know. Everybody's got one of those haunted houses in their neighborhood.
Everybody's got a thing. Everybody has one experience that shook them to their core at one point in their life.
Yeah. We'd love to discuss what that topic was for you. Of course, it's all could be in anonymity.
Anonymous.
Yeah. We'll keep it anonymous.
Let's keep it anonymous.
Unless you want to be on the show, in which case, just let us know. We'll see if we can work something out.
We'd love to have you.
Thanks for joining us on this episode. We'll see y'all next time when we talk about all things spooky.